Greetings from Deal. Just wanted to cover a couple AA abilities that become really important once we become level 90. I dinged to level 90 last week and have some banked AAs. I earned a lot of AAs during the double XP weekend. Wanted to cover these two. I did cover assault and battery in my last video, but I want to cover under archetype we have finishing blow, and under class we have anatomy. These are two big ones. Finishing blow is a passive ability that grants your crit melee attack a 90% chance to deal 96,305 damage to a level 91 mob and lower with 10% or less health. So basically that's any mob. So that includes humanoids, but it also includes undead, animals, anything with less than 10% of its health that's a level 91 or lower. Your crit melee attack, so it's got to be a crit. You can do, but it gives you this 90% chance. So when your crit lands, you have a very high percentage chance that you'll deal this finishing blow. It used to be that it used to be that we could perform this finishing blow to a mob that was lower level than the rogue. Now it's one level higher. So that's a pretty important distinction. Finishing blow, as we get increasing ranks of it, it becomes the mob becomes more and more an even con, and then eventually it becomes like a yellow con. So this is when we can start doing solo work on yellow con mobs. That's pretty important. When we go over to class and we look at anatomy is really cool. It's a passive ability that grants your backstab and crit throwing attack a chance to deal 140,680 damage to a level 88 and lower humanoid NPC target when attacking from behind. So you can see in both of these cases, with finishing blow and with anatomy, you have a very specific set of circumstances. So you want to make sure you read this, because honestly, I get caught up in the verbiage of reading through these AA abilities, and I'm no expert at this game by any stretch. But first, it's a passive ability, backstab and crit throwing. So it's not a crit backstab; it's a regular backstab. Crit throwing, so you got a crit with the throwing attack. A chance to deal 140,680 damage. So that's not when a mob is less than 10% of its health, like finishing blow. So this is at any percentage of its health. Okay, any percentage. It's got to be a level 88 or lower humanoid. So this is only humanoids. This is not undead. This is not an animal. So you are kind of limited here, and you got to be attacking from behind. You can't perform this maneuver when attacking from the front. You got to be from behind. So huge. I've killed mobs in Eryuden's Burning with this, and it's like instant death. And some of my group mates were like, "What the hell happened?" And I looked at my log here, and I had performed anatomy on that target. Now another ability, which is quite expensive, but I would buy it, is called Massive Strike. The next rank of this cost 12. The previous rank cost 25 AAs. It's quite expensive. But this is a passive ability that grants your backstab skill and your backstab skill attacks a 10% chance to trigger Massive Strike 1. We'll talk about that in a second. And an additional backstab skill attack with a base damage of 900. Okay, with a chance to trigger twice. Okay, let's just look at base damage 900. So if you look at my base damage with my current knife, okay, my base damage is 91. Okay, that's 91. The ratio right now is 4.6 modified, right? So now you just multiply this times 10, and so the base damage goes up to 900, right? With a 10% chance to trigger twice, right? And when we look at the base damage skill attack, let's look at my base damage skill. Right now under skills, backstab is at 313 modified. If we go under stats and you look at my current modifier, I'm at 126 of 125. That means I'm at the backstab cap, which is great. So that increases an additional backstab skill attack with base damage of 900 with a 10% chance to trigger twice. I triggered this once and I was able to backstab for 460,500 damage. I believe I got a picture of that. If I have a picture, I'll include it in this video. When we look at Massive Strike 1, this is that 900 base damage backstab skill attack. And then we go to Flurry of Daggers. So basically it triples my skill. My skill is about 313. And it can't get any higher, so now you're multiplying that times 3. Flurry of Daggers increases the chance your backstab attacks will deal full damage at any angle by 2%, and the chance you will perform a triple backstab by 6%, so it increases that modifier. But what I've noticed is when this thing goes off, and it actually goes off surprisingly often. So, Massive Strike, Anatomy, and a Finishing Blow, these things all work hand in hand. It's not like they're working in isolation. They work hand in hand. So when they go off, you'll take a mob that's up between 3/4 and half of its health and just instantly kill it. It's got to be a humanoid. Humanoids are great targets for rogues. And so again, like a lot of my group mates, they were saying, well, what just happened? And it's the rogue had performed one of these finishing maneuvers. So I would say probably Finishing Blow, Anatomy, and Massive Strike are big ones. Pernicious Backstab is great. I'm still actually working through some of these. I'd really like to get more ranks of Purge Poison here. This can remove poison counters. These are big in fights. And of course, combat stability and combat agility. These have always been expensive. Discordant Defiance, great. But in terms of class defining and archetype defining skills, I would say Finishing Blow, Anatomy, and Massive Strike. These are big ones.
So I believe this is the Alcabor fight. I believe these are several finishing blows in a row. You can see I hit the mob for 97,289, then 109,338. This is Alcabor. I believe it was Finishing Blow. So once if the mob is humanoid and he's less than 10% of his health, this can continually be performed. When we look a little further, we can see Massive Strike going off. This is from a Curious Custodian in the library, another zone. You can see this massive 414,050 damage, and I believe that Massive Strike came after 2 successive Finishing Blows back to back. So you can see just the ridiculous damage a rogue can do here.
Another thing I wanted to show was I'm here at my bank. We got these really cool new trade satchels, which are great for trade skilling. But what I wanted to show is the decisions we're kind of grappling with at this point with poison making. And this will be my last poison making video because with increasing levels, every 5 levels you go up, you can make the next rank. So there's really nothing new to discuss. What happens is the ingredients for these poisons start dropping less often. Okay, so you really have to prioritize what you're using the poisons for. Fighter's Bane is great because Fighter's Bane cannot be used to make Valens or Talon's Tactic poisons. And when we look here, Talon's Tactic requires Privet Extract, and Valens' Tactic requires Delphinium Extract. And the higher ranks require higher grades, and the higher grades drop less often. In this top row, I've got the distilled grade C. These require immaculate privet and immaculate delphinium. So these distilled ingredients can make the rank 16s. These flawless ingredients here, these will make level 95 poisons, which I can't make yet. I'm only level 90. And then these pristine make the level 85. Actually, that's superior over there. This is pristine oleander, pristine delphinium, pristine privet. So what we're grappling with is, and I'll probably repeat myself in the next video because I'm going to show this on Alakazam, which I like to do. I like to look at my trade skill window here, and I like to check Alakazam. And so what we're going to do is prioritize pretty much all of our immaculate ingredients for Valens and Talon's Tactic 16. Okay, and we'll prioritize most of our pristine ingredients, most of them for Valens and Talon's Tactic 15. Okay, the Fighter's Bane is awesome because we can pretty much make all the Calodinium in the world and use that for the highest rank Fighter's Bane. All right, but about 5 of the rank 15, so these slightly lower ranks, these purified grade AA Delphinium and purified grade AA Privet. We're going to, about 5 of each of these I'll make monks and archers, okay? So that's DPS poison we're not making, we're making utility poisons. And the idea is that, the Valens and Talon's Tactic poisons, let me pull that up here. Valens and Talon's Tactic, they interact, and so what that means is, the Talons, after a Talon strike, Valen strikes. So with the rank 16s, one of these will hit for 20,000. Then after, say, Rogue A is using Valen's Tactic, Rogue B hits with Valen's Tactic. Once this strikes, that's 50,000. And then you'll go from 50,000 to 100,000. And so these amplify each other. So these are the rank 15s, but with the rank 16s, they do more damage. Okay, but in a similar way, the Fighter's Bane, the Archer's Bane, and the Monk's Bane, those are stacked, as well as Myrmidon Sloth. Don't forget Myrmidon Sloth. Those will all stack. So the idea being is we can simultaneously hamstring a mob and do damage to that same mob. And this is all about rogues working together, less by themselves. They're working together cooperatively to help bring about the end to that mob as quickly and as efficiently with our poisons as possible. So what we're kind of grappling with is how much Delphinium and Privet do we prioritize to Valens and Talons, and how much we prioritize to archers and monks. And because first, these don't drop very often, and second, because these are very, very hard, high trivials to make, a majority of these are going to be dedicated towards Valens and Talons Tactic, with about 5 per rogue. And we're going to assign one rogue as being the Monk's Bane rogue, who uses Valens, and another rogue will be the Archer's Bane rogue, who uses Talons. The next one will be the Fighter's Bane rogue, and again, we can use the highest rank of Fighter's Bane. He'll be used Valens again with the highest rank of Fighter's Bane. And then the remainder can use Quellius Trauma to keep their aggro reduced, or Myrmidon Sloth. Myrmidon's great because that can be used as a pre-slow. So probably we can use the highest rank of Myrmidon Sloth. That can effectively work as a pre-slow while we're waiting for shamans or enchanters to slow a mob. This can work as like a pre-slow. So we can essentially do the work as like a bard would do. So that in a nutshell is all we have left to say about poisons. I'm going to show, basically might repeat myself a little bit, but I'm going to show the same thing from an Alakazam perspective. So I just wanted to demonstrate here, I looked up Archer's Bane and Monk's Bane and Fighter's Bane. Fighter's Bane's great because this requires Calodinium, and Calodinium cannot be used to make Valens or Talons tactics. So we can make the highest rank of Fighter's Bane for, and this reduces the attack rating by 220, which is nice. Again, that'll stack with archers and monks. These are the rank 15s. Monks reduces avoidance by 9%, and archers reduces the chance to crit by 3% with all skills. So, we're kind of running up against. We want to use the highest rank of Valens and Talons tactic possible. We want to have the best DPS poisons applied to our knife on raid. So the idea would be that we would prioritize the Immaculate Delphinium and the Immaculate Privet for Valens and Talons tactic 16s. But keep in mind that only so much immaculate ingredients will drop. They tend to drop from very high level zones, and keep in mind they're very, very high skill to make them. What we're going to do is prioritize the Delphinium and the Privet to making a majority of it will be all of the immaculate ingredients will be prioritized to Valens and Talons tactic poisons. A portion of it will be of the pristine Privet and Delphinium will be prioritized towards the Valens and Talons tactic 15. And a small percentage will be prioritized to monks and archers' bane. So ideally what we'd want to do is use the immaculate ingredients, use all of it for Valens and Talons tactic poisons, and for the Privet, we'll take a small percentage of that. The pristine and Privet and Delphinium take a small percentage of that, so about 5 poisons per rogue. And on raid, if say for example we have 4 rogues, generally at our Kith and Kin raids we have between 4 to 5 rogues that make raids. So what we'll do is we'll have one rogue use Valens tactic, the highest rank that they have of Valens, and apply monks. And if that rogue dies, they just reapply monks and they reapply Valens. Okay, and so what they'll do is I'm going to give them about 5 of these, or they can make their own, right? And then the next rogue in the rotation will use they'll be the Archer's Bane poison rogue, and then he'll be using Talons. He or she will be using Talons. The next rogue will use the highest rank of Fighter's Bane, and then he'll use Talons again, and just so on and so forth down the line, because monks, archers, and fighters will stack, right? And but Valens and Talons tactic will also amplify. Again, we're trying to make the best utility from using our utility and DPS poisons on raid as possible. So this is something we're coming to this. So this is fairly high level gaming. I just wanted to kind of downshift and talk about finishing blow. This is Morel's Castle. This is the Beastery and Morel's Castle. This is coming off Alakazam. You can see that most of the humanoids are level 91. Some of them aren't. This hungry halfling is level 94. He's a quest NPC anyways. But this mutinous scallywag, okay, he can be above level 91. So there are some mobs here that you can perform finishing blows, but you cannot perform anatomy, because if you notice, they're all level 89 or higher. So you cannot perform anatomy on these guys. You can perform a finishing blow, but not anatomy, okay? When you go to Ariadan's Burning, this is different. A lot of these mobs are within below level 88, so you can perform a finishing blow on all of these mobs, and you can perform anatomy on some of them. Some of them are undead, but the humanoid, the heretics, which are Eruddites, you can perform anatomy on those too. So just pay attention to the level zone that you're in. And EB is excellent. If you're with a paladin in this zone, it is just absolutely overpowered, because they can conduct slay undead, and you can conduct finishing blow. On any of the humanoid targets, you can conduct both a finishing blow and a anatomy on them. And so you just absolutely shred Ariadan's Burning. So this is where we were able to get to level 90. and we still go there just because the XP and the AA is so OP'd. But Morel's Castle, you start to see limitations for what anatomy can do. So that, in a nutshell, is updates on what Deal is doing now, working through House of Thule expansions. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Probably not going to be making any more poison making videos, but we'll release more about the rogue class. So I hope you enjoyed that. Any questions or concerns or criticisms, let me know. Thanks. Bye.